All right. Good evening. Well, happy Friday. It's Thursday here. We're recording the night before, but hope you guys are having a good Friday. Um, Now, before we get things started here, we're going to be talking some Eagles, some training camp updates, some injury updates, and obviously a preview uh, to tomorrow's preseason game. But first off, before we get into all that, I want to go talk about our sponsorship. It's with sportsdisplays.com. Sports Displays is offering this really cool product. It's a very minimalist, jersey mount. If you're a jersey collector, it's a really nice, add-on to some of your dorm decor. For those who are moving into college soon, um, they're offering a 10% discount plus free shipping if you use our promo code PICSWAP. This is jerseymounts.com or sportsdisplays.com. Sorry. Um, just use code PICSWAP for 10% off and free shipping. All right, now lots to get into. This past weekend was crazy. There was the Eagles' first open practice. Huge turnout. There was over 30,000 people there, and AJ Brown actually made a tweet about it. Really shocked about the showing of the Eagles faithful at Lincoln Financial Field on Sunday. Uh, I'm not really surprised about this at all. I mean, I wouldn't really expect anything less from Eagles fans. What about you?
No, I didn't go back. I would like to go back and check how the attendance has been in previous years' open practices, but just in a general feeling from the city, I feel like this is the most excited we've been for the Eagles in 3-4 years at least, maybe since that post Super Bowl season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the Eagles faithful has always been one to like show up no matter like how good or
Right,
bad
yeah.
the team is. But I definitely think that crowd. I mean, I watched videos. It seemed like they were pumped. I mean, it was filled. I mean, the whole lower level seemed like it was filled to the brim. I mean, it
Mm.
was really insane. I saw some nice plays. One notable play was, and then probably one of the bigger headlines from the entire practice was a Jalen Hurts AJ Brown connection, which was the first kind of preview that little tandem right there, and it was a really nice pass. It was AJ Brown was running down the sideline, looked like a post route or something like that, and Jalen hit him right down the sideline along right about the 5 yard line, and AJ Brown slid in for a touchdown.
Mm.
Uh, and I saw everybody was going crazy about that, so that's something to look forward to. Um, but Asher, I don't know if you caught anything. Is there anything else you saw that was like super crazy from that practice? I mean, there was the Jordan Davis stuff, but
Yeah, that's the I think a big takeaway from that. I think Jalen and the AJ Brown connection, we've been hearing about it in training camp, just how Jalen's kind of funneling AJ Brown targets. He's kind of got tunnel vision. Not a bad thing when you've got an all-pro level receiver. And we finally got to see it like in person. 30,000 people got to see it, and I think, the excitement that we had for that AJ Brown trade when it first happened, that's kind of building and building and building as we're getting
Mhm.
closer to his debut.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've been hearing reports all summer about how they've been building
Yep.
chemistry and everything. So I mean, I'm pumped. I'm super excited to see what happens, but it all comes down to what actually happens on the field tomorrow, which
Yeah.
I mean, I just I just can't wait for preseason to be over. I mean, it hasn't even started, but I'm already like dreading, watching, you know, two series of, actual football that I really am genuinely interested in. And the rest of the game kind of being a battle for roster spots.
Yeah.
But one more thing about that open practice, saw the video. I'm sure many of us saw it, of Jordan Davis, our first round pick out of Georgia. He was insane, dude. He was up against Cam Jurgens, another one of our rookies, but I mean, first of all, he looked massive. I mean, he's
He's a
way
large
bigger
man.
He's very large man.
Yeah.
Very, very large man. But he was bitching. He was bitching around bitching around Cam Jurgens, dude. It he was doing bunny hops
Yeah.
backwards and like
5 feet each.
yeah, and Cam Jurgens is not a bad offensive lineman at all.
No, and it's not like he's a weak or small person.
Well, no. I
That's like
mean,
a
he's
6'2", 300-pound guy that he's pushing back.
yeah, yeah. I mean, are we? I mean, I don't want to be outrageous here. I mean, I don't want to make a big assumption or like get super excited off of one play, but are we looking at like an Aaron Donald esque kind of player? You know, with that kind of quickness and that kind of strength, and like that dominance.
Well, yeah, I don't want to make too big of a preview of Davis's career off that one play, but I mean he easily comes into the NFL as one of the bigger and stronger defensive linemen, and he shows it right there. And he could probably do that to most offensive linemen in the league, just out of the fact that he's 6'6", 330 pounds.
Yeah,
he's a force.
absolutely massive. But like the thing is a couple of days later, some reporters asked him about what had happened, about that play at practice, and what was his thoughts about it. And the response was actually like really, really nice. I really liked it. But I have the clip right here, so let's just give it a listen.
I hate it. I just feel like it shows it's very one sided. You see one repping, but you don't see Cam just blocking me and getting me at practice and getting me in the other reps. So I always say looks can be deceiving. So one rep and it goes viral, whatever, woo woo. But Cam is holding his own. He's a very good player, and it's just good competition. It's iron on iron. So you see the background of everything, but don't let the hype get to you.
That's a class act. I mean, he's a rookie.
Player. Yeah.
Yeah. That was not, I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't I mean, I was very much not expecting that response. I was really taken away by it. I mean, he is a class, like definitely going to be a great presence in the locker room.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I can't say anything bad about this guy at all. I mean, he's going to be dominant, and he's also like this big teddy bear. Seems like a really sweet dude, like this big friendly giant.
Yeah, and you like to see guys, given the chance to. Not that was necessarily him being given the chance to prop Jurgens up. That was clearly the reporter kind of setting him up to push Jurgens down, but him just taking the opportunity to encourage a teammate. That's the kind of thing that takes a locker room far. It's a winning player.
I mean, he played for a national championship team last year, so I mean, totally, totally expect that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like blown away. I saw my family. I have family that lives down near UGA. They're big Georgia fans. I would talk to them, and they always told me, they were like, I mean, especially the dad. He was like, yeah, like you gotta watch out for that kid Jordan Davis, man. Like he's massive, dude. Because he okay. So my brother-in-law, I should say, he works in fire department, and he knows like relatives that work on the team, or like he just knows people because he lives like right next to campus,
right?
And they talked to my brother-in-law about Jordan Davis, and how they're just standing next to him and they feel like an ant. But at the same time, when they're like talking to him, he's like a really genuine sweet guy.
Yeah.
Something you wouldn't expect from a guy that has like a foot and a half on you.
Yeah, and quite a few pounds.
Yeah. But yeah, Jordan Davis, what a guy.
Yeah, you like to hear that, definitely, especially from a rookie.
Now tomorrow, we got the preseason opener. Got some players to look out for. Obviously, you have Jordan Davis. We were just talking about him. definitely want to look at him. He seems to be getting kind of even reps with both the first team and second team. So I think we should expect for him to get a solid amount of playing time, tomorrow. Maybe, I mean, since he's a rookie, he might play the entire game.
Yeah.
But he's going to be something to look out for. But I think we're all looking towards something bigger than that.
Yeah, well, right now the path to playing time to being a full-time starter is a little with Cox and Hargrave in front of him. That's probably not. He's probably not going to end up being one of the top two guys by the end of the season. Which, I mean, he has a talent for it. There's just talent in front of him as well, which is why you're probably going to see him playing a lot of the game tomorrow. And I mean, you assume that he's going to really beat up on those second and third string guys when they come in.
Yeah, I mean, all right. What's your over under for a sack total tomorrow? I'm gonna put it at 3.
I'll go under that, but I feel like definitely by the time he's playing like the third quarter, the guys that are coming out in the third quarter, he's probably going to be getting double teamed.
Oh yeah, definitely at that point. But I mean, I know we've been talking about Jordan Davis for almost like 10 minutes now, but I mean, I just love the kid. I mean, seeing what happened on Sunday and then his response. I mean, I don't know, I can't get over it. But bigger names, which also kind of made an appearance on Sundays. The AJ Brown Jalen Hurts tandem. It's gonna be really interesting. I think that's something that pretty much all Eagles fans are looking forward to the most. And I heard reports that the first team is going to go out for a couple of series or something. Yeah.
So we're expecting them to play a few more drives than you normally see in a first preseason game.
Yeah, I mean, I already saw reports saying that they're only going to be out for a couple of series.
Okay.
I mean, it's normal, but whatever. I mean, I just want to see them play. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
But that AJ Brown trade. I mean, it's all. I mean, the practice on Sunday was one thing, but it's going to be even more exciting to kind of see them in action tomorrow.
Yeah.
So definitely looking out for those two. We want to see how much that chemistry has built and how that translates to, I'm not going to say as far as an actual game, but playing against a different defense.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as the starters go on either side of the ball, you have to say that AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts are the top two that you're looking for. Just because of the impact that they're going to have. We said it time and time again, this offense, this team goes as far as Jalen Hurts goes this year. The talent's there to make a long run in the playoffs. He's got to step his game up. And one thing about that I'm really excited about is that he's been playing decently well from the reports I've heard in training camp. And the guys he's going against, that's a talented defense. He's thrown against Darius Slay. He's thrown against James Bradberry. Not every team has Darius Slay and James Bradberry. So, by the time that Lions game rolls around, it's going to feel a lot easier for him, I would expect.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like, seeing different defenses and, obviously I don't want to overrate the Eagles defense, but, like you just noted, a couple of really, really good, really solid, cornerbacks, and, we're seeing Anthony. We're seeing Epps. Why am I saying Anthony? Goodness gracious. We're seeing Epps come out as, a really shocker for, starting safety. He seems to be pretty solid. But like you said, I mean, you kind of hit all the points on the head. I definitely agree with everything. It's only going to get better, honestly. Like playing against the defense like the Eagles, like I don't know. You kind of took all the words out of my mouth. I don't really know.
I feel like you're afraid to overrate the Eagles' defense.
What?
I said I feel like you sound like you're afraid to overrate the Eagles' defense.
I'm a little afraid because James Bradberry. I mean, he had a really good season in 2020, and then he was like okay last year. So I mean, he's solid, but the disappointed Eagles fan in me is afraid of getting disappointed again. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah,
it's also like something I'm not familiar with having two really, really solid cornerbacks.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
the last time we tried that was Nnamdi Asamoah and was Asante
Antonio
Samuel?
Rogers, was it Antonio Rogers Cromartie? Or
Yeah,
Dominic
it
Rogers
was
Cromartie?
Cromartie. Yeah, it was Cromartie. I remember it was that season, Cromartie and Nnamdi Asamoah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's a little different. I think we have a more established, somebody who's proven that can play in Philly,
Yeah.
in Darius Slay. But, I'm getting throwbacks to that 2012 Dream Team. Speaking
Bradberry, you
of,
have to remember, in the same vein as Jalen Hurts having to play against Darius Slay and James Bradberry all summer, Bradberry
Mhm.
has seemingly been the main cover on A.J. Brown. From what I've heard, he's been covering him more than Darius Slay, and he's been doing a solid job. As many big plays as we've heard about, which is why we're excited about the Jalen Hurts A.J. Brown combo. Bradberry has had a share of times where he's had pass deflections or he's just jammed A.J. Brown on his route, jammed Devontae Smith on his route. So I've heard good things about Bradberry. I think we're going to see a year more akin to the 2020 Pro Bowl year than we did last year. So
Yeah.
he's probably the player that I'm most excited about to see outside of Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown tomorrow, just because of the good things that I've heard from camp.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from what you've heard today, I'm definitely a big Jordan Davis guy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him. Seeing James Bradberry is going to be interesting too. But I don't know, like the secondary, I'm really excited about it. But for me, I'm like waiting to see it play out because
yeah,
training camp reports like they only go so far. I don't wanna like get super hype over training camp. Same thing goes with like Jalen stuff. Like I don't want to say that he's gonna suck this year because I've been hearing,
right.
sometimes he's doing good, sometimes he's bad. It's I don't know. It's like I feel like training camp it has some significance, obviously, because it decides the roster and everything. But what really matters is like how you play in a game, because that's like I feel like that's a whole different thing. There's contact.
Yeah,
There's a whole different plethora of flat factors that go into that. But Asher, I think you mentioned to me a couple of kind of smaller names that are going to be competing for second second team spots. What were some of those guys again?
yeah. So outside of those, since we kind of went over the starters, the player I'm most interested to see once the those first team rosters step off the field and we start seeing the backups, Britton Covey is he's 5'8", he's 170 pounds.
Yeah,
wide
that's me.
receiver. Yeah.
Yo,
You,
I'm 5'8". Let's
you
go.
look him up, this guy does not look like he should be playing football. He looks like he's like the coach's son and he's like on the training staff or something. But he's been killing it in training camp so far. He's even, I want to say it was during the public practice, but it might have been like a practice before or after that. He was getting a couple of reps with the first team even over Greg Ward, over Jalen Reagor, so it looks like from what I've been hearing, well, obviously Devontae makes the roster, AJ Brown makes the roster, Quez makes the roster, Zach Pascal. There's two more spots for wide receivers, you would assume. It was Greg Ward and Jalen Reagor, and now Britton Covey's put his name in there too. So depending on how he does yesterday, he might even be able to leapfrog those more established players, earn himself a roster spot. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this kind of player kind of come out every single year. It feels like we had Quez Watkins, and then we had oh god, I can't even remember some of like the second string guys that came up the practice squad. I mean, Greg Ward was one of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Greg
I'm
Ward's
wondering if we're having kind of like a third coming of that sort of player. Like, what if he comes out tomorrow and he like catches a 80-yard bomb from Jalen Hurts? I remember when that happened with Quez. I mean, it happened like that several times. Didn't it?
Quez had some big plays last year.
Yeah, in the preseason. But
Mhm.
like, I wonder if he's going to be like our preseason treasure once again.
Well,
Like
he's definitely been the training camp diamond in the rough so far. I would have to say.
Yeah.
A couple other guys on the second team. Just there's a general, the second team cornerbacks. We've got a couple of young guys battling for spots. We've got Kayvon Wallace. He's been on the team a couple of years. There was some promise at the beginning. He seems to never have really flashed. Andre Chachir has been doing pretty well in training camp. So you definitely, when you don't want to turn off the game after the starters go out, you definitely want to be looking at the couple of promising young guys that could make the roster this year.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to some of the young talent that we have coming up. I want to have some solid depth going on there because you never can predict with some of these injuries. So
right.
I mean, great points there, but more broad NFL coverage. We have to wrap up our series of division predictions. We have the AFC West. We saved the best division in football by far for last. Asher, if you want to start us, you want to go from bottom to top or top to bottom?
Yeah, let's do bottom to top, just because I have I feel like there's 3 teams in that division that I would classify as Super Bowl contenders. I'd say it's really hard to pick out who's actually going to win that division. It could be any of those 3. The one team I'd have in a slightly lower tier than those other 3 is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders made the playoffs last year with an interim head coach. I think really shocked a lot of people. Honestly, I think they take a step back this year just because the only really big improvement they made, they brought in Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think the rest of that roster is talented enough to keep up with the Broncos, the new look Broncos, and then the Chargers and Chiefs. The defense is really below average. Derek Carr is the 4th best quarterback in that division. No disrespect to him. He's probably a top 12, 10 quarterback in the NFL. Just the talent in that division is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play those other teams 6 times a year. Tough matchups. I have the Raiders going 7-10 this year, and a little bit of a step back from last season.
7-10. You have that low, man. I mean, I could definitely see it. They definitely have a rougher schedule. I have them also finishing in last. I have them going 9-8. But missing the playoffs, obviously, you pretty much. I mean, I agree with everything. I don't. There's really nothing to debate there. I just. Looking at the rest of that division, I just think that a lot of other teams, filled in more holes in that division.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, with the exception of the Chiefs, I don't really think the Chiefs did much, but they still have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, so you can never, shut them down. But the Raiders, no discredit to them and all that they've done this offseason. I mean, I think they've definitely improved in some ways. Devontae Adams is definitely a huge addition to that offense, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough, especially since we're seeing new look teams with that division, and kind of the rest of the AFC it's going to be a lot more competitive. But yeah, so in third place, I'll go on and just note my third place team. It's tough. It's really, really tough, but I have the Denver Broncos as my third place team. I'm honestly, any of these top 3 teams could be interchangeable. But the reason why I put the Broncos in third is because I don't know how to rate Russell Wilson's. I don't know. It's just a lot. So let me just start off by this. Recently in training camp, they lost Tim Patrick, and that was their wide receiver 3 last year, but he did play a significant part in that offense. And I think losing that offensive piece is going to play some sort of a factor. I have the Broncos at 11-6. 11-6. It's going to be kind of like I said, all of those top 3 teams are relatively even. But I think with that loss of Tim Patrick, while a lot of people are kind of going to dismiss it, I think it's going to play a little bit more of a factor. But it all really depends on Russell Wilson. I'm not doubting Russell Wilson at all, but I think he's going to be pretty solid. It's just a question of his age and whether or not he can maintain. Because as we've seen over the past couple of years, I feel like he's had a lot of up and downs, and we'll see. But I have them projected at 11 wins and 6 losses.
Okay. I have in my third place, I have the Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you said, it's really tough putting a team as talented as the Broncos or Chargers at third place in their division. It just sounds crazy, but that division is just so good. The thing that worries me about the Chargers is just their defense was, I think, statistically a bottom 5 or 6 defense in the NFL last year. Now, they brought in Khalil Mack. They brought in J.C. Jackson. So you bring in a top-tier edge rusher. You bring in a top-tier coverage guy. But I don't know. The Chargers and Broncos last year were kind of similar but opposites, whereas the Broncos' defense was like a top 3 defense in the NFL statistically, and their offense was holding them back. They brought in Russell Wilson, which just vaults the offense so much. Mm-hmm. I don't think bringing in 2 guys on a bad defense improves the defense as much as bringing in a top-tier quarterback improves an offense, which is why I have the Broncos over the Chargers.
Oh.
So I have the Chargers offense kind of carrying them to a degree. I have them at 10-7. And the Broncos I have finishing second in the division at 11-6 as well.
Okay.
So same record as you, different positioning.
Okay, so I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. So I'm going to start off in second place. I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh.
I think not having Tyreek Hill, I think losing Tyreek Hill and losing Tyrann Mathieu are, they were both pretty big pieces to either side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not one that's going to doubt Andy Reid. Us Eagles fans, we know that in the early 2000s, we didn't really have big names for wide receivers. We just had a talented quarterback. And that's kind of exactly what's going on, with the Chiefs. I mean, they brought in Juju, so he's going to be nice. But, really, they don't have like a star.
Yeah.
Like a true star at wide receiver. So I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to be, they're going to plummet without Tyreek Hill. They're still going to be an 11-win team, I think. But I don't know. For some reason, I feel like the Chiefs are just going to, slide down a little bit. I think, and that reason being is the progression of Justin Herbert. Big Justin Herbert guy. I might as well just round it off. In first place, I have the Los Angeles Chargers at 12-5. Now, of course, every single year with the Chargers, it seems like everybody overhypes them and gets so excited for the Chargers, and then they just disappoint every single. I've noticed that so many times. I mean, I watch Colin Cowherd and all these sports analysts, and they seem to be really high on the Chargers. I mean, even at the end of Phillip Rivers' days, they were still super excited by the Chargers. And when Joey Bosa, got added, Joey Bosa, I don't know. When I just remember in 2018, 2019, they were really excited about it, and then he just plummeted. But my point being is, I think this year, I think they're going to live up to the hype. I really like Justin Herbert, really, really talented guy. And I think he's really going to help out that offense. That their offense was really, really good last year. I think that's going to continue, and obviously with the additions of Von Miller and J.C. Jackson, two really, really solid guys. I mean, Asher, you kind of said a little bit of the opposite of me, but I don't know. I just feel like defense matters, and I think that's going to really, really kind of launch them to the top of that division and give them the division crown.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it. Maybe having the Chargers at 10-7, that a lot of the things holding these AFC West teams back is the fact that they have to play other AFC West teams 6 times a year.
Yep.
So this Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs are all probably 12, 13 win level teams that have to play other 12, 13 win level teams a lot, which drops their record a little bit. So
it just
gonna kind of segue off of that. I have the Chiefs at number 1. I also have them at 11-6, same as the Broncos. So the Chiefs are probably the only team in this division. Well, if you say that the Chiefs regressed this year instead of actually improving their roster, they're the only team in this division that got worse.
Well, yeah, literally, yeah.
In the same vein as my Packers prediction, my Patriots prediction, my Buccaneers prediction, I don't bet against Aaron Rodgers. I don't bet against Bill Belichick. I don't bet against Tom Brady. And I don't bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You know, this team maybe took a little bit of a slide without Tyreek Hill, but that wide receiver room is still pretty talented. You know, they have a rookie, Sky Moore. I believe Mecole Hardman's still on the team. You said Juju. Patrick Mahomes is just insane. Andy Reid's a great coach. I still think this team takes the division. I have them at the same record as the Broncos. I think that they'll probably end up beating the Broncos once or twice and have the tiebreaker over them, or a better divisional record.
Yeah, solid. I mean, in general, this division is just like so tough to predict.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how this is going to turn out. I mean, for all we know, the Raiders could come out of nowhere and win this division. I mean,
that would be the only thing that would really surprise me.
Yeah.
If the Raiders finish first or second in this division.
I mean, if you say the Raiders win the division, I think that's probably one of the hotter takes in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this division just blows my mind. You know, I thought about these predictions for a while, and I really, really struggled. I'm going to be honest. I really struggled, you know, where I should put the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. You know, because like you said, I mean, they were the only team that really, talent-wise, kind of regressed. But, you know, they still have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So how do you weigh those two things out, you know, with the rest of the division getting a lot better, but Patrick Mahomes? You know, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Any of those top three could be switched. I mean, Broncos could win it, Chargers could win it, and the Chiefs, obviously, I mean, they've dominated this division for the past, 6 years? Yeah, because the last time the Broncos won it was 2015.
Yeah. I mean, Andy Reid has kind of had a chokehold on this division for a while. You know, he's had one Super Bowl winning run, 2 Super Bowl trips in that time, plenty of AFC Championship appearances.
Well, yeah, we also have to keep in mind that the last 4 AFC Championships have been hosted by the Chiefs.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, it was tough.
If this team is sliding from very high up, you know. They could go from here to here and still be a 12, 13 win team that goes to the Super Bowl just because they got a little worse.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we'll go into this in probably in a couple weeks, our full playoff predictions and everything. Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately the Chiefs, you know, they'll make the playoffs. Obviously, I could see 3 teams out of the AFC West making the playoffs. Actually, have that actually happening.
I would be very surprised if less than 3 make the playoffs from this division.
Yeah. I mean, for that to happen, I think we have to have teams like the Dolphins, you know, really, really shock. We would need a second team from the AFC South somehow. With the Titans.
Probably need Deshaun Watson playing the whole year just so the Browns make some noise.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about, I mean, we didn't really plan on going into that, but now there's reports of him being, you know, Roger Goodell wants to suspend him for the entire year.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm being honest, I support that. I don't get so Ben, if you think about it, Ben Roethlisberger and, you know, anyone else has dealt with a domestic abuse case, or I'm sorry, sexual misconduct case, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Roethlisberger, I think, only got 6. I mean, most of the times it's only 6 games, but that's one woman.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson is dealing with 24. So, I mean, the thing is that none of them are proven cases out.
Right. Yeah. That's where it gets sticky.
Yeah, but I mean, I think having 24 women. I don't think 24 women just came together and decided to just conspire against you. I think some stuff definitely happened, maybe that number's a little inflated, but
Yeah. It's
I
just
think
it's tough because legally you can't say like there's a baseline where it's like, oh, once 30 women make an accusation against you, legally you did it, even if like none of them are proven. Like there's no number that it could reach. Like there could be 100 accusations, and like if you can't prove any of them, nothing really happens.
yeah. Oh, and guess what? Guess what I saw the other day? I don't know. You probably saw this too, but they held a massage like convention or something like that right next to the Brown Stadium. I'm not even joking. I'm
Really,
not
I did
even
not
joking.
see that.
Yeah, no,
Just
they.
trolling?
I wish I could find it. They held like a massage, some big massage event, but it was literally like 3 blocks away from the Brown Stadium. I thought that was so funny.
Was it like on purpose to mess with them?
Who knows, man? I mean, that thing
You
was
don't
probably
know.
planned for months.
Yeah, I guess
The
so.
big event,
Right.
but it's so
That's
funny
funny.
that it happened right
They're
next to the
honest.
Brown Stadium.
Yeah.
But anyway, all jokes aside,
Any last thoughts about the AFC West?
man, like so many thoughts.
I have one more little disclaimer I want to put on, just to kind of me having the Chiefs and Broncos at 11-6, kind of hedging my bets, just because I think either of those teams could win the division. I would put the Chargers' chances a little lower. I think if one team from this division just sets the world on fire and goes like 15-2, it's going to be the Denver Broncos. That's my little hot take for to end the pod. Just because I think if you look back at the schedule from last year, there's a couple games where they were playing really talented teams. I wish I don't have my notes on me. I left them at the apartment at Temple, but I believe they played like the Chiefs and held them to like 18 points, and then their offense only scored like 13. Just a couple games where they held their really talented offenses under 20 points, and then their offense could only manage like 7 or 10 points. And I think if Russ was playing those games flip, and there's 5 or 6 of those games. So that goes from like an 8-9 team to a 13-5 team, or 13-4 team. So
13-5. Yeah. Wow. That's kind of scorching hot. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird to think about the Broncos and Russell Wilson. I don't know. It's still like I'm still trying to.
Yeah, it's like Brady and the Buccaneers. It's not going to be real until we actually see him in that uniform playing a real game.
Yeah.
And even that, after Brady won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, it was still like weird to see him in a Bucs uniform.
I don't know. It's just like, okay, why aren't you why didn't you just win the 7th ring for the New England Patriots? Like, I don't know. It's really odd, but I mean that's going to be all around the league though. Like you're going to see all these players in new uniforms.
Yeah,
I think this is like the craziest offseason we've ever had.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, all right. About 20 billion tangent points later, here we are. Thanks for tuning in. That just about does it. Thanks for listening. Make sure to go check out
the sportsdisplays.com.
Use our promo code PickSwap for 10% off and free shipping. Go follow our socials, 215 Scoop on TikTok, the 215 Scoop on Instagram, and 215 Scoop PSM on Twitter. We're working on being more active on Instagram and Twitter and such. Click subscribe and the notification bell, and we'll see you next week.